Hey guys, it's Leaps here. This is my video guide to everything new with Monster Hunter Frontier. All the information in this video is from a written guide I made a year ago for new players to Frontier. This guide will be linked in the description below. Some of the information in this video is only relevant to the Rain server because it is the most populated server and is the server I play on, but the majority of the information still applies to any server you can play on. Now with all that out of the way, Frontier was an MMO that lasted for 12 years, so there's a lot to cover. Let's get started. After the opening cutscene, which shows off a little bit of Mesoporta Square, you'll be greeted by the instructor. You can skip through his dialogue. Note his text isn't translated yet. All game text that is important has been translated to English. The full translation is still being worked on. He will mention the Hunter Navi. Let's look at it now. The Hunter Navi is your in-game guide to the new mechanics of the game. It's pretty okay for an in-game guide, but it doesn't cover everything you might need to know. It is good to follow along the Hunter Navi as well since it gives good rewards, but most everything in it will be brought up in this video anyways. Let's get the current rewards we can and close out of it. If you're on the Rain server, let's turn and talk to the guide. We can claim a welcome pack that has all pieces of the Rathalos armor. This is slightly better than our current Hope gear we have on, so let's make sure to grab that. Now let's explore Mesoporta Square. First we can go visit the Caravan. Well, you can't visit the Caravan, but over here is where the Caravan is. We can go over to the Guild Hall. This is where you would go if you're in a guild, which we will cover later. Over here is the Rasta Bar. The Rasta Bar is where you can get legendary NPCs called legendary Rastas, or you can also get your partner, which we'll go over in HR2. There's also My Facilities. This is where your house is and the garden and your support. There is no reason to go to the garden. It is not relevant anymore, and support will be also explained in HR2. Right next to your facilities is the shops. It has the combo NPC, the general store, and the grocery store. The combo NPC is just your mass combiner. The general store will sell you potions and paintballs and general items like that. And the grocery store, that's where you get your hunter food, like from other games, where you eat before a quest. In this game, they're called Bentos, though. Then over here is the armory, where you'll get your equipment and weapons. Right over here, we have the general quest NPC. This is just where you go to, do your key quests and quests. Before we start doing key quests, I recommend you do these two quests. Lots of Zenny, a quest which rewards a lot of tickets you can sell for in-game money, and Newbie Weapon Craft, which is a quest that will reward you with materials to make a powerful weapon good enough for getting through a couple of the low ranks. Those are found under gear acquisition quests at the general NPC. During the quest, you will be joined by the instructor and random NPC hunters called Fastas. You can turn these off if you want in the settings, or by setting the maximum number of players to 1 before you post the quest. They also don't take up slots for real players, so if you're playing with friends, you don't have to worry about that. During the quest, you probably noticed a small flying wyvern that was helping you out. That is your Halk. They join you on every quest, but they can also be turned off in the settings. They will attack monsters and have their own abilities, many of which are useful to you. After every quest, there is a chance your Halk will fly over to you and drop an item. Pick it up, it is usually an ability they can learn. After the weapon acquisition quest, let's go over to the armory and forge the weapon that we got. To do this, once you're inside the armory, select Weapons, Create Weapon, and choose whichever weapon you want to use. You will be looking for the only available option you can craft at this time. It should be named Infinity something. My weapon is the Infinity Blade, for example, and we can automatically equip it after the forging animation ends. You cannot skip the forging animation either, so you are locked to watching it every time. Now that we also have some money, let's go buy some items from the general store, make some combines, and make some bentos at the grocery store. Make sure you buy them to the box and make sure you get your daily rewards from the general store as well. Let's look at bentos at the grocery store. Bentos are food buffs in this game, providing the normal health, stamina, damage, and defense up buffs like other Monster Hunter games. To make a bento, buy the ingredients from the grocery store or the general store, then go back to the grocery store and buy and register the bento. Registering it means as long as you have the ingredients, you can make the bento in the quest confirmation screen, so you never actually have to return to the grocery store NPC unless you need to make a different bento. Bentos will change with seasons, so make sure you're checking it if the seasons change while you're playing, because their effects can change on you and you might actually start nerfing yourself instead of buffing yourself. On screen will be a list of items you can buy from the general store that are good that you should probably have in your in your inventory at all times, or in your item box. I will also put a list of items you should buy from the general store that are useful for combines. And then there's also an item from the grocery store that is also useful for combines that you need to buy from there as well. I will also put on screen items to make at the combiner using the mass combine function, but before you can mass combine items, you have to make them by yourself one time. So after you buy all those items from the grocery store and the general store, just make sure you you combine them from your box or in your inventory so that you can mass combine them at the NPC. Now that we have our bento and our items, let's set up item sets to quickly grab items before our quest. To do this, head to one of the item boxes, store the items you don't need, and take items that you do need into your inventory. Then go down and select item sets and save item set. Select which item slot you want to be saved to and name it what you want. I saved it to the first item set, so now if I press L1 at the item box, it will automatically fill my inventory with the items we registered. And now we are ready to quest. The key quests are already marked with orange and yellow with an orange and yellow symbol. Do all the quests in the urgent to get to HR2. Congratulations on reaching Hunter Rank 2. At Hunter Rank 2, you unlock 2 new companions, Partners and Partnyas, and you also get access to the Caravan Jewel. After the quest, you'll be greeted by the instructor. You can skip through the dialogue. Let's head to the house. It should have been upgraded automatically for us. After that, let's head to the roster bar to get a partner. Partners are customizable NPCs that can accompany you on quests like the instructors and Fastas of before. Go to the roster bar, you will be greeted by an NPC. Go through the dialogue and head inside. Once inside, you will be greeted by a feline NPC. Skip through this dialogue as well, and you will see all of the legendary Rastas in the game on the right side. I recommend the SNS legendary Rasta, Flora, since they have better AI and have more survivability, but a dual blade partner is good as well. Talk to one of the legendary Rastas and select partner, and select what gender and personality you want your partner to be. After that, head back to your house and the legendary Rasta should be in your house. Talk to her and you can customize your partner. After that, you'll have your partner and you can enable or disable partners through the NPC settings. You can give your partner equipment, but you cannot get it back. Partner weapons and armor work differently than the players. The armor you give them will not have any abilities. Partner abilities will be explained in G rank though. Partner armor will just have defense. The defense is determined by the tier of the armor you give them, like low rank, high rank, G rank, and if it's from the same tier, the armor will have the same defense. Partner weapons work similarly. The raw damage they have is determined by the tier of the weapon, but the status, element, and weapon length will be unaffected. This means it is really good to give them a weapon that has a lot of paralysis and that has a very long length. I recommend the Gogamoa SNS as a starting weapon for your partner. It has a lot of paralysis and is also very long. Even if you don't give your partner a weapon, you should give them the powder set. You can find it under item settings in the partner menu. The powder set will allow your partner to use party-wide potions like life powders and party-wide cold and hot drinks. As you can see, it costs 1000 GCP. We barely have any GCP right now, but we can get some by selling some tickets to the general store. Let's head there now. At the general store, choose GCP exchange, then redeem points. Turn all the tickets you have into GCP. All of these tickets are best used for this purpose. We can head back to our partner in the house once we have exchanged all the tickets. Back at the house, let's spend our 1000 GCP for the powder set. Do not spend any more GCP, it is very limited until G rank. And that's everything we need to know about partners for now. Let's move on to Partnyas. Partnyas are just palicos from the other Monster Hunter games. To get our Partnya, let's head to My Support under My Facilities. Talk to the Halk instructor and select Hire Partnya. You can customize your Partnya how you want, confirm and enter the name that you also want, and then confirm again. You will now have your Partnya that can accompany you on quests. Partnyas aren't really used on quests when you have a partner, except if you need more inventory space or you need part break rewards. As your Partnya levels up, they will get more inventory slots, up to 5, that can hold stuff for you during quest, which is really good for gunners if you need more ammo or combines. As for part breaks, just having a Partnya with you during a quest will give the Partnya a chance to receive a part break reward. This means you can get double the part break rewards. I forgot to mention it, but partners as well will also give you more monster parts at the end of the quests. You can have up to 3 Partnyas, only one can accompany you on quests, but you can get a second by joining a guild, and you can get another when you reach higher ranks. But that's everything you need to know about Partnyas. Let's also talk about Halks while we're here in My Support. You can give your Halk monster parts to eat by interacting with the rock. Feeding your Halk is important because if they are full, they will earn more XP, and the monster parts also raise the status and elemental abilities of your Halk. To see these stats, talk to the Halk instructor and choose Check Status. Your Halk can have a maximum of 3 levels. It levels up as you quest. For it to get to level 2, each stat must be raised to its maximum value of 250. That will take quite a few quests. I recommend focusing on the intellect stat first though, because it will cause the Halk to drop more skill books. You can change which stat is prioritized through the training menu from the Halk instructor menu. The stats are all pretty self-explanatory, and you can also see the progress on the element and status of the Halk. If you maximize a status and an element, your Halk will visually change to look more like that element and status, and their attacks will now inflict the status and element of the monster parts you fed them. From the Halk instructor, you can also equip skills to your Halk under skill book settings. If you have any skill books, equip them here. And that is everything you need to know about Halks. There is one more final thing we must look at before questing. The Caravan Gem. We can finally enter the Caravan area, so let's head there and talk to Boss Keel. She will give us the Caravan Jewel. If you notice, there is now a colored circle right next to your player name. As you can see, I got the green circle. The Caravan Jewel is another form of hunter progression. Each color of the jewel corresponds to a certain quest. Doing those quests raises the color of the jewel. It is a very long grind and it is not worth it to focus on individual colors. You can see the progress in your personal status settings. We won't be focusing on the jewel until late G rank, but you should check the furthest building in the caravan area to see if you can change it to a rainbow color. Once you're in the building, talk to this NPC and choose change gem color, and if rainbow costs 0, then change it to rainbow. This means that any quest you do will raise any color, so you can slowly make progress while doing the necessary quests. I recommend doing this every time you log in just to cut down on the grind later. Before you head off into your key quest, I have one more final suggestion. In your quest list, you can find a Rukodiora quest. The Ruko armor is really good. Play him enough times to get his armor and it will last you until HR5. Now this quest is very tough because he is an Elder Dragon. Use everything at your disposal to complete the quest. Use your Bentos, your partner, and other NPCs if you can, or get some buddies and do it together with them as well. You can even join a clan and use the Poogie buffs and guild food. If you're in Rain, you can easily join a clan through the command guild join in the Discord. The two biggest benefits of being in the guild are food buffs and Poogie buffs. To get a Poogie buff, buy Poogie crackers from the clan shop and then feed them to one of the Poogies. Make sure to buy a good amount of crackers though, because they can take more than one to activate the buff. The Poogie must love the cracker for the buff to activate, and you can only have one buff at a time. I will put on screen a picture of all the different Poogie buffs. Guild food, on the other hand, is just food that does not replace your Bento buff, and it gives you an additional skill for free without using a skill slot. All the skills are good, but the most useful one would be Incitement. That skill gives you more damage in exchange for being focused more by large monsters. Use all these to your disposal to slay Rukodiora easily so you can get this armor set. And that is everything you need to know for HR2. Do your key quest and the urgent, and I'll see you guys for HR3. Congratulations on reaching Hunter rank 3. Unlike other Monster Hunter games where low rank would be 2 more ranks, you are now in high rank. There are only 2 things to explain for HR3. First is the Hunter Taloncharm. The Hunter Taloncharm is the Power and Armor Charm and the Power and Armor Talon combined into one item. To make it, we need to make the talons and combine all the items together. Buy the Power Charm and the Armor Charm from the general store, you only need 2 of each. The only other item we need is 2 Laoshun Claws. You can get these by spending a little more GCP in the GCP point exchange of the general store. After you buy everything you need, have 1 of each charm in your inventory and 1 of each in your box. Combine the Laoshun Claws with the charms to create the talons. Then combine the talons and the charms together to make the Taloncharms. Then finally, combine the Taloncharms together to make the Hunter Taloncharm. I will include an image reference on how to make these items. Notably, the Hunter Taloncharm is the final tier and does not stack with the other items, but it does combine all of their buffs into one. Always keep it in your inventory for more attack and defense. And the last thing to explain for HR3 is Transcendence. Talk to the Guildmaster and she will explain it. Transcendence is a power-up you can activate during quests. A new Transcendence icon will appear in your item bar during those quests, and after some time in the quest, you can activate Transcendence like you're using an item from your item bar. There will be a short animation which you're completely invulnerable for, and you will now have the Transcendence buff. You will take less damage and deal more damage during the buff, and during this window, if you repeatedly attack the monster, you will notice the Transcendence icon has changed and that it is increasing as you make your attacks. Attack the monster enough and you can activate the Hexaflash Dance. This is the ult, and the dance will deal massive damage to the monster and apply a debilitating debuff to them as well. The Hexaflash Dance debuff will depend on the element of your weapon. In the video, the hunter has a fire-based weapon and the Nargacuga will now be taking damage over time from the fire and will flinch more often from the flames. Don't worry if you don't build up enough to hit the ult, the Transcendence can come back during the quest and it will save your progress. It is rare to use it in such a low rank and without any upgrades, but don't worry about upgrading it for now, that won't happen till G rank. And that is everything for HR3. Complete your quests and I'll see you guys back for HR4. Congratulations for making it to HR4, the last hunter rank in high rank. HR4 only has one new main thing. You will notice you have a new tab in the Hunter Navi. It is not as important as the other ones, and you will naturally go through it just by doing the key quests. The biggest thing in HR4 is the tour under My Facilities. Go to My Tour and you'll be greeted by the guild secretary. Talk to her and she will have you pick a tour manager. There's only visual differences for the ones you choose, but they do take a day to show up in your tour. The tour is your place for everything you will need for your Poogie companion. It can also have worker felines, but they aren't really relevant anymore. After you enter the tour, you will also complete a Hunter Navi in the HR section. Make sure to grab the 30-point ticket for the Poogie form. When the tour manager does eventually show up in your tour, You can receive My Tour points by exchanging that ticket for the points. You will need to do this for your Poogie companion. To get a Poogie, select the Poogie option from the manager and select Poogie Extension. Spend all of 30 points to get a Poogie. Poogie will also take a day to show up, and do not accidentally spend your 30 points on the departure facility before you get your Poogie, or else you'll be waiting a few more days to get your new companion. After you spend the points for your Poogie, go back to the Hunter Navi to get another 30-point ticket and exchange it for the points, and then buy the departure facility under Poogie Ranch expansion in the Tour Manager menu. It will also take a day to show up. The departure facility is how the Poogie will show up in quests to help you out. The Poogie will not take up an NPC slot, and this is also how you get Poogie skill cuffs later on when you're in G rank. If you do make the mistake of buying the departure facility first, go to the manager and spam the talk option. Eventually you will get 20 points, and then make sure to come back every day and choose the get points option so you get 1 or 2 points for that day. Eventually you'll get the 30 points you need to get the Poogie to fix your mistake. If you do get to HR5, you can also spam the talk option again. You will get 20 more points, and then you can just skip getting the points every day. That is everything you can now do in the Tour, and then everything you can do in HR4. So just make sure you do your HR4 key quests and the urgent, and I'll see you guys in HR5. Congratulations again on making it to HR5. You are now out of high rank and are in the elite rank, probably the hardest point in the game. I'll explain all of HR5, 6, and 7 in this section, since they are not too different and don't really get a lot of new stuff. HR6 just introduces more monsters, and HR7 is just one quest. The first thing we want to do is move out of newbie worlds. Some quests cannot show in newbie worlds, so we have to complete every HR5 key quest. Might as well move now. Once we are in the new world, we want to buy the second house expansion from the general store. This is the final house expansion in the game. Enter the house to see your new abode. This will upgrade your item box storage as well to the final upgrade, and then make sure to talk to the guide after you do this and claim the HR5 Welcome Pack. The Welcome Pack contains some average equipment for HR5 and materials to craft a Zero Ryusu Go weapon. The armor set isn't that great, but can be used for some of the HR5 quests, but it does not have Evasion 2, which is necessary at this rank. To get Evasion 2 easily, I recommend farming HR4 Rajang and make his armor set to get the skill. The game is much harder in this rank, and combat is more focused on turns, positioning, and rolling through monster attacks since monsters hit so hard and so far. Defense basically doesn't matter anymore, and the weapon materials you got are good, so I definitely recommend using the Zero weapon though. You will make it at the armory under the Go weapon option. After equipping your armor and new weapon, talk to the guild master. She will unlock Hunter SR and Heaven and Storm styles for your Hunter to use. Hunter SR is your style rank with the weapons you use. The higher the style rank, the better buffs you can equip. At a low style rank, like you will be, you can equip a defense plus 60 buff at the equipment box in the armory under the SR settings menu. These buffs won't be a huge factor until G rank though. That same menu is where you also equip your new styles for your weapons. For most weapons, they will just use Storm style, but some might prefer the Heaven style. The styles will add new moves to your weapon's arsenal of attacks. Test out the styles to see what is new with your weapon and what you like. Also, don't forget to check out all the new stuff in your Hunter Navi. You'll have a lot of stuff to claim, make sure to claim them all, and a lot of it is really free and really good. At HR5, you also unlock daily quests. You can only do 2 daily quests a day, and there are 2 important quests to do every day. The first is Hunting Support SR Food. This quest will give you a lot of ingredients to use for better bentos, and also gives you the ingredients for the best bento in the game, sticky pasta. Sticky pasta is good because it gives you all food buffs at the same time. The other quest is True Carving Elder Dragon Gem. This quest guarantees you get an Elder Dragon Gem, which is used for a lot of armor in this part of the game, else it is a very rare carve from Rukodiora. When you looked at the quest, you probably noticed a flame icon in the quest menu. This means this monster is a hardcore monster. Hardcore monsters are stronger monsters with different looks and new devastating attacks. I mean, just look at the Gendrome. It has some pretty wild attacks, and it is just a hardcore Gendrome. You'll have to face some hardcore monsters in your key quests, so just make sure you are prepared. I mentioned that your free Zero weapon was a Go weapon. Go equipment will boost specific skills up a tier while your health stays above a certain point during quests. That point depends on how much Go equipment you have, and boosting skills for free is very powerful. You know skills are being boosted if you see your health bar flashing blue in the quest, like you can see with mine while I was fighting the Gendrome. Speaking of new monsters and equipment, you will also have to face exotic monsters in HR5. Exotic monsters are monsters from the other generations of Monster Hunter. They are the same monsters you've seen before, but are way more powerful and with new attacks and much more health. With powerful monsters comes good rewards though. The armor you make from exotic monsters will have an innate skill that does not count towards your skill limit. The most important of these exotic monsters is Nargacuga. Nargacuga armor pieces have innate evasion +2, so instead of the full Rajang armor set, you can farm Nargacuga for its armor piece and can make a mix set using other gear. Do not use all exotic equipment though. Its resistances are low and you will take way more damage than you already are. My guide document has a lot more information for mix sets and what to focus on. Check that out if you need more information. That is everything for HR5, so let's move on to HR6. HR6 only introduces one new piece of hunter progression: My Missions. My missions are a set of 250 monster targets for you to hunt. Sometimes you only hunt one monster, sometimes you have to do two, and sometimes it's a hardcore monster and some of them are in G rank. It is a long grind, but you'll mainly focus on it in G rank. In your Hunter Navi, you will get 10 to 20 My Mission tickets. Give these to the guild master to skip some of the quests. I recommend getting your My Missions up to 20 or 40. Doing your My Missions will reduce the damage you take, raise your attack damage cap, give you more partial HP, and make stash recovery a little faster. It's important to do them because you don't want to nerf yourself by having capped damage, but you won't need to worry about that until G rank. The only other thing in HR6 is you unlock more exotic monsters and you will now fight Supremacy Monsters. Supremacy Monsters are very tough to solo, probably the hardest in the series. Use everything you can to beat them, everything you learn from this video, but they are really tough and so it will take some time and a lot of learning to do, and a lot of frustration. If you get too frustrated, there is a cheat code: Halk Pots. Halk Pots are consumable items you got from the Hunter Navi. Use one in a quest and it will reduce your damage taken by 70% the whole quest, even if you faint. If the challenge is too tough, use them if you want. There ain't no shame about it. People want to get the G rank, and Supremacies are very difficult and were never meant to be soloed anyways. That's really it for HR6, and HR7 is just one repel quest. I'll leave you guys to do that though. Complete that quest and you'll be on your way to G rank. That is everything for this video. I hope you guys found it helpful. Remember, everything in this video is from a Google Doc, which is linked in the description below. If you get confused about anything, I recommend reading it or going to the Discord for help, or ask in the comments below. Happy hunting, and I will see you all in G rank.